Hey guys, Marsengan here, bringing you another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video, and so this is a video that I've been looking forward to doing since the start of the anniversary. I've had a couple of people ask me to do it already, and that is of course using this Tech 23rd World Tournament Goku with the GT Duo LR, because they are on his 200% leader skill. And there's a big reason why JP players enjoyed this guy a lot more than global players in general, which is because they had the GT Duo already when this guy came out. And the main reason is, if we take a look at what he does, obviously he does a whole bunch of things. He's got an incredibly long passive. He builds up as he receives attacks, but he only has a chance to guard. There's a high chance to guard, and then he gets an additional attack that has a great chance to become a super when guard is activated, and he builds up defense whenever guard is activated. Now, the last part of his passive, additional attack and defense 150%, launches an additional super attack, guaranteed, and guards all attacks, guaranteed, starting from the turn in which the character or an ally's revival skill is activated. Now, he has a standby revival of his own, but you can't use it until turn 6, and you have to be under, 59% or less, so under 60%, I guess. 59% or less HP to be able to use it. So a lot of people, myself included, even back when I was making my videos using him when he first came out, there were a bunch of times where I just never got to use his standby, like ever, and never got to get the revival with him. So for global, if we wanted to unlock his full potential by having another character revive and then activate his passive, which, don't get me wrong, is a great design for units that get buffs from a revival, is having it be able to trigger from another unit reviving is super good. Because then you don't have to rely solely on that one unit's getting the revival. It's where Carnival Goku can be kind of a letdown. And for global, he was the best choice that we had. It was like, use Tech Carnival Goku, get his revival, and then this Goku's ready to go. But if you ended up getting into a situation where you actually did get this Goku's revival, and then you get to a turn where you're below the HP restriction for Tech Carnival Goku, because he hasn't revived yet and his passive doesn't work like this guy where it triggers off of somebody else's revival, he would lose his guard, because that's how his revival mechanic is supposed to work. He loses his guard below a certain HP threshold so that he dies and then gets his revive. But the problem is, he loses his guard and then you've already revived with another character, so he can't revive and then he potentially just gets you killed. So very unfortunate that it works like that. So the GT Duo, as we know, has a much better revival or standby ability, right? So in fact, I was too busy talking about what Goku does to actually notice, but there were 4 attacks directed towards them on that turn. So as long as they didn't dodge any of them, then that means they are going to be fully built up to their standby ability. By the time, well, the next time they come around, it'll be turn 3, and you do have to get to turn 4 or be below the HP threshold. So it looks like we probably are going to be getting to the turn 4 before we get it, rather than the HP threshold. But that means we will have their revival ready to go. I decided to do Metal Cooler for this because I haven't done this event for ages, so I thought it would just be fun to do. It depends how quickly we can get the below the HP threshold, but I did deliberately bring quite a lot of STR units on this team, right? So we do have a decent possibility of taking enough damage in order to get below that HP threshold. Plus we do have, I guess if I do this, like, Krillin is good defensively, but in fact, let me just double check his passive here. He doesn't have to be in slot 1, does he? Hatches are equipped 4 times after an attack. Yeah, he gets extra damage before attacking, but he still has 20% damage reduction. And then he gets extra damage reduction against one enemy. So he still has damage reduction in the last slot. So there is the possibility that he could take a lot of damage here. But Metal Cooler heals quite a bit every turn as well. So with some of our STR units, if they're not getting crits, they're not going to do crazy damage to him. Because the one thing I have noticed with trying out some of these teams in different events is obviously until we get the Sin Shenron stage, like the hardest events we have in the game at the moment on Global, they're not really great at standing up to the power of these 7th anniversary LRs. Like, they are just very, very strong units. And I mean here, for example, like, because we've got type disadvantage, if we're not getting crits with them on these supers, it means we're not going to do like crazy amounts of damage, which is good because we don't want to get through this too quickly. Because at the end of the day, even though the GT Duo are going to make it easier, this Goku's biggest drawback is the fact that it takes a while to get him built up to where you want him to be. Because you have to build up his passive anyway by him getting hits as you go through the stage. And then you want that huge monster buff from getting somebody to revive. But yeah, I mean, the way this would work the quickest is if we had the GT Duo on the second turn. Oh, he dodged the super, really? If we have the GT Duo on the second turn, then obviously we would have the potential of, if as long as they get hit 4 times, then they can go into their standby on turn 4, which would be now, and then we could put Vegeta in slot 1, and the chances are he would just get absolutely demolished by the super attacks. So let's do... I don't want Goku to super first. There's one attack there, so I'm going to do this. I'll try not to get any same type orbs here, and then I won't get the support for Bulma just yet, because I want to actually lose some HP here. Maybe I should have just restarted this so that the GT Duo were on turn 4, but I mean, Goku took a decent amount of damage from that attack, but we'll see how much damage we do. So you can see from the amount of healing that he does, he is basically back to full health at the start of this turn. So, because I do want Goku to have the ability to go crazy, but like I was starting to say, I feel like this is potentially one of the drawbacks, is that by the time you actually can get him to the way you want him to be, the fight's almost over, right? Because again, I could have just restarted repeatedly until the GT Duo were on turn 2, and then as long as there was a slot with 4 attacks, their standby would straight away be ready to use on turn 4, which would be the optimal setup. But, you know, that's not what necessarily is realistically going to happen when you play. Now, to be fair, at the moment, if you do want to try out this combo, because you do have all the units that you need, there are infinite red zone attempts at the moment, which is cool. So that does kind of get rid of one of the hugest problems with the red zone, is that if you start off with just an absolutely terrible starting rotation, there's not much you can really do about it. Whereas, of course, now you can just quit and restart until you get a good starting rotation. But anyway, we saw Goku. My 55% Goku got nailed by the super. That kind of shows you the difference, right? Like, he's tech. Mine's only 55%, but he's tech, and he took that much damage from the AGL Metal Cooler super attack. So it's quite a lot. But we are going to exchange into the Vegeta here, or stand by into the Vegeta. I probably will never stop calling it exchange, because that's how I just see it in my mind, right? Because you swipe, and then suddenly you're Super Saiyan Vegeta. So I know it's the standby ability, but let's see. So, I mean, I guess the safest thing to do here probably is just to put him in slot 1. I'm obviously not going to use Yajirobe's heal, because I want to die here. So we'll do this. In fact, yeah, we just won't get any same type orbs. We'll do this, and then I would imagine that Vegeta just gets one shot by Metal Cooler here. Yeah. Although what's kind of funny, actually, is I thought he would have done... I didn't notice it was that way round. It's funny that he didn't do the heal action first, because he killed us, and now we're going to revive, it means he doesn't get to do the heal action. So, whereas if he'd healed first, he would have healed basically back to full health, and then we would have been then getting hit and getting revived. So, anyway, here's the Spirit Bomb. We didn't do a ton of super attacks, so obviously they didn't get crazy built up. Plus we got type disadvantage, so if we don't crit, I don't imagine this is going to do a crazy amount of damage, but, you know, could still be good. Do we get the crit? We do! So we do 15 million, that's pretty good. And then we go back to this rotation. So he is going to... Oh, he's going to heal twice. Okay. He's not happy about not getting that heal rotation in there, apparently. So let's go for this. So what does Goku have now? This is my 55% Goku. So yeah, with the buff that he now has... So bear in mind, just to go through it again, I know I'd said it at the beginning of the video, but 150% extra attack and defense, guaranteed additional super, and guaranteed guard. So remember, on his super attack, he's greatly raising attack for 1 turn, so his attack stat's going to jump up like each time. So let's go ahead and do this. Grab this. We've obviously got the support. To be fair, we got support from Krillin and STR Carnival Goku. So he's rocking 800k. And then I believe, doesn't he get defense? Does he get defense on super as well? Each attack received. Okay, so he doesn't have an on super buff. He's also lost his... He has key 2 attack and defense 101% for 5 turns from the start of the turn. This is turn 6. Actually, if this is the one that was on turn 2 originally, I guess he still does have his intro buff. But anyway, let's play this out here. So we've got 800k defense. We're dropping a 6.6 million attack. Now, that might not seem like the craziest, but isn't... I think also it's him and Piccolo Jr. are effective against all types when there's one enemy, which isn't a big deal when we're fighting an AGL enemy anyway. But jumps up to 7 mil with the second one. Then we still have the chance to get another one, so we're at 7.8. And then I think on this turn we can still get the... Actually, it depends if we get... We didn't get hit first, did we? So this might be the hidden potential one. Yeah. So 3 supers, basically dropping 7 million each. And he wasn't fully built up, by the way, because you saw there every single hit we had the icons for attack and defense up. So even if you think like, oh, you know, 7 million attack, that's not that great for a new like 2023 Dokkan Fest exclusive. Not only is he only 55%, but he's backing that up with 800k defense. And again, that was not fully built up. So after taking those other 4 hits, now he has even more defense than that when he comes around the next time. So pretty crazy. Of course, Krillin had to be the one to eat the super as well, which is a little bit annoying. But we can get a good turn out of this here as well, because we can go for... Oh, I mean, he's just dead this turn, right? Well, he's going to heal, but where's the friend Goku at? Bear in mind, he only shares 2 links with the GT Duo, Fierce Battle and Saiyan Lineage. So, I mean, if we have the rotation set like this, then obviously he looks pretty good here. Wow, the friend one only has Guidance of the Dragon Balls at level 9. Crazy. So the friend one who has 2 dupes, he's at 542k. That's with no support on the rotation, because we haven't picked up the orbs with Bulma yet. So if we do... I guess, yeah, we'll let him get hit first. I think the problem is I wasn't going to use Bulma's active skill because it gives everybody effective against all types. So I'm pretty sure we just GG this turn if we do that. So... Because I really want to see that other Goku come back on the other rotation. So I think I'm going to do this, right? We get the 5 orbs, so we get the support for Bulma, but we don't get the extra super with her as well. So he heals for quite a bit. I think this should be all right. Because, yeah, the friend one's definitely not as built up. Was he the one we ended up having to float off at the beginning? I actually don't remember. But you obviously do want to make sure that Goku is taking as many hits as possible, which I guess is another thing that can be kind of counterintuitive, because at the beginning I was trying to play in such a way that not only could I get hits on the GT Duo so their standby was ready, but also to potentially get hits on other units to drop below the HP threshold so we could guarantee that we were getting the standby. But really you want this Goku to be getting hit as many times as possible early on so he can get the build up. But I mean, he's just going ham here, so I guess as long as nobody crits, we might be okay. But I mean, the GT Duo just getting a 9.5 million. So that's them, not with many links. They've got, what, the 2 links with Goku and then Legendary Power with Bulma. And then Bulma's support. Maybe I shouldn't have even got the support, but... Yeah, any crits and it's over. Yeah, I mean, look at that. So, yeah, you can see, I mean, we didn't get to see the full build-up of that other Tech Goku, but considering he got hit, what? Was it 4 times he got hit and still got buffs from each of those hits? And at the beginning of that turn, he had 800k defense at 55%. Yeah, that is pretty crazy. So if you did pull the GT Duo, even if you didn't pull this Goku, he should be coming back on the worldwide celebration banners, which obviously for global is around 2 months away, slightly under. So if you have pulled the GT Duo, you'll obviously have the ability to pick this guy up when the worldwide celebration happens. I mean, again, like, what do I really need to say? Like, when you trigger his or someone else's revival, 55%, 800k defense, dropping multiple 7 million attacks, and that's not fully built up. Like, that is pretty good. So yeah, very happy to have this combo on global. I might try this out against Sin as well once we do get his stage, because I think it'll be a lot easier as well very early on to drop below the HP threshold, just get killed straight away, get the revive, and then these guys can absolutely go to town. Because the main thing that he gets, which I guess I didn't really talk about in great detail because we were fighting Cooler, who was AGL, but once you get that revive, then he has guaranteed guard. And that's where he has let me down a lot with my one, especially at 55%, going up against like the Metal Cooler Core. Even if you have a million defense, if the Metal Cooler Core supers him and he doesn't guard, he still takes like 700k and you die. So being able to get his thing to proc so he has guaranteed guard is so incredibly powerful. So having the GT Duo there to be able to get that done, because again, against the Metal Cooler Core, in the first couple of turns against the Metal Cooler Army, it's really easy to get the GT Duo to get hit 4 times. But anyway, let me know what you guys think down below. Did you pull this Goku and the GT Duo? Have you tried them out together yet? Definitely very strong. The fact they're on his leader skill, they work perfectly together. So let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. So that is going to be it for the video, guys. This has been the Masked Ningen. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Check out the links down below for the Discord and the merch store, and I will see you all again soon. Have a good one.